During my school years, I actually tried to meet up with the demand of the society. You need a first class, second class upper. When I decided to do this, I put all application behind me and I kept my certificates in a box. During my course of working, I discovered that I don't really like sitting down, working on the computer. And it feels like I didn't do anything for the whole day, so I decided to resign. And farming came to mind. My name is Bose Suberu. I was born in Ogori, Kogi State. I was born in 1980. My mom moved to Lagos to meet my dad. One thing led to the other. I went back to the village with my grandmom. After secondary education, I decided to join my parents in Lagos. I got admission into Lagos State University in 2002, where I studied history and international studies. I was also working on part-time, and at a point in time, my employee had to write a letter that if I want to study, I have to resign or leave my study and face the work. So I had to resign, and it was so difficult for me to pay my fees and buy materials to studies. And I have some friends then, a particular friend who was so good to me, and she financed my tuition fee for 2 years and before I got another job. And after that, I was managing till I graduated. And after graduation, I worked with a construction firm. And during my course of working, I discovered that I don't really like sitting down, working on the computer, and in the evening I go home and someone greets me, how was your day? It feels like I didn't do anything for the whole day, so I decided to resign. I thought to myself, if I don't want to work for anybody anymore, what will I be doing that even if I fail, I'll still be willing to try? And I have passion for plants and animals. Farming came to mind. And in 2015, I told some friends who helped me to get a land somewhere in Owode, around the Duroko area. That was where I started. I started with cassava and maize, and there was no much rain. I think the rain started sometime around April. I had to manage, and I asked myself that I'll be harvesting maize in March, harvesting cassava after a year. So in between that 3 months of harvesting maize and harvesting cassava, what will I be doing? So I went online, I saw a training on vegetable farming. I went for the training. After the training, I started, and ever since then, I've been doing it. Even when I fail, I try. I was making research and I was getting it right. Presently, pepper, tomato, cucumber, okra, maize, they are my major crops. When I lost my paternal grandmom, she has a cousin who was living with her. That one, she continued taking care of me. She was a farmer. On weekends, I follow her to farm. And aside that, we have some other family members, houses that are close by where we have farmers, and on Saturdays I go with them to the farm. I think that was where I derived my passion for farming from. Most of my family members, they think maybe I'm suffering being in the bush. I left Lagos to live somewhere in the bush, and how am I coping? And they want me back in the city. Maybe I open shop, start selling something. I said, that's not my life. This is what I've chosen. This is what I am, and I'm enjoying it. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I've had tutors in the past, and sometime in 2017, I had an introduction. But on that very day, I discovered that it was all a mistake. If you have a partner or you are in a relationship that doesn't believe in what you are doing, it's not worth it. At that time, I had a low self-esteem because he looked down on me. There's always that comparison with someone living in the city. You are not bossy, you are not big, you are not this. So I decided to quit. And ever since then, I'm just on my own, doing my own thing. Farming has been fun so far because it's my passion and I really love what I'm doing. I have 7 workers. I take my workers as my brothers because that's the only way you can have a good working relationship with your workers. Let them give their opinion, even when you won't put it to use. Seek their opinion and together you make something good from what you are doing. In the pepper farm, I have even children there harvesting because it's holiday time. They want to make little money, help their parents, and women from neighboring villages also come to the farm to work during harvest. I've also been running an organization, Farm Advocacy and Rural Development Center. The focus of the NGO is on unemployment and rural development. And to take care of unemployment is to train the unemployed on how to be a successful farmer, to end hunger, poverty, and to also take care of crime. And in that aspect, I also include the prisoners who should also be trained on how to produce their own food. And the other aspect of it, which is the rural development, is taking care of the sanitation, water, medical, climate, and the children need in the society. If it wasn't farming, I wouldn't have done any other thing. I think agriculture is just what I love. I was meant to do this and I'm doing it and I'm enjoying it. My farming has been a bit easy, different from what our forefathers has been doing because I've been using some of the modern system of farming. I have drip system, though I run water from the river, but I'm doing it in a very different way. I stake most of my crops. I stake my tomato, stake my cucumber, and it's been a bit easier than what we know in our grandfathers' ages. Though I started with manual irrigation and I'm still doing part of it because I didn't have sufficient fund to install drip irrigation system for my pepper farm, which is my largest farm. I'm hoping that with time I will have sufficient fund. I'll be able to raise more money to install drip irrigation system to farm it in a more modernized way. In terms of grants or support from the government, I've actually not pay much attention to it, but of recent, sometime last year, there was an advert for government grant for, a loan for agriculture. That CBN has a microfinance bank that is giving loans to farmers that we need to register, go for a training, write a proposal, and I paid 10,000 naira for the training, and I paid 10,000 naira for the proposal to be written, and ever since then, I've not had anything, and sometimes that makes me to give up on government loans or support for farmers. Sometime this year, I was at Abeokuta and an institution was giving out tomato seeds to farmers. I was giving 50 grams. That has been the only thing I've gotten from the government ever since I started this venture. It's been fun working as a farmer, and on a yearly basis, I'm growing, though it's difficult with the cost of inputs. We have almost 100% increase of inputs, and every day our lives are being determined by dollar rates. And the insecurity challenges is also something that discourages one from farming. But even at that, I'm not giving up. We will rugged this country together, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm hoping for a better Nigeria.